And there's a rumor, it's attributed to the president, that there would be one base in each state eliminated. In Wyoming, we only have one base. It's by Cheyenne, and it's an integral part of that's our biggest city of 56,000. So it's a big part of that city, and the two work together. And I appreciate the military doing a number of tests of intermilitary cooperation there, which have been very successful. So I appreciated your comments that you would be going through a BRAC process. We have no problem with the BRAC process and know that it has been difficult, but fair in the past, and those people so I just want your reassurance that that is the process you'll be using.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. I also, as a co-founder of the Air Force Caucus and a former member of the Air National Guard, I noted your comments about the reduction in strategic airlift. And so am I correct in assuming that that will rely more on Air National Guard units then, who are very efficient at providing that? Would that be a fair assumption?
The Chief Staff of the Air Force, and of course, who is responsible for two of the legs of the triad, are looking at the balance of capabilities, both active Guard and reserve. I don't have the answer committed to memory on how it will affect the Guard, but I'm sure we can get you that answer, sir.
Yeah. Again, I hope you'll take a look at the cooperative efforts that we've had of combining regular Air Force and Air National Guard in Wyoming. My third concern, I mentioned that we only have one base in Wyoming. It happens to be a missile base, and Senator Conrad and I share another caucus that worries about the nuclear capability of this country. And we're wondering if there are rumors that the department's preparing unilateral reductions in nuclear force beyond the requirements of START. And so is that what the future is for the ICBM force? And are there really any significant budget savings from ICBM reductions?
Senator, one of the things in our budget is to maintain the triad, the nuclear triad, and the deterrence that we have. We think we need to maintain our missiles, we need to maintain our submarines, we need to maintain our bombers that are part of our deterrent, and we will continue to do that. The one thing you're referring to is a review that was being conducted, I think pursuant to legislation from the Congress, to review our nuclear stockpile and nuclear issues, and there were a number of options that were discussed. There have been no decisions on that, and frankly, one of the options that was presented was maintaining the status quo.
I appreciate that, particularly in light of what's happening in Iran right now. Some deterrent may be absolutely necessary. And my final area of concern, because I got a letter just this week from a man in the military who's about to retire, and his family has been a part of TRICARE, and he appreciates that. But he's heard these comments about how the cost for TRICARE, the participation, was going to have to go up. And the reason he wrote me is because he has a sister that's on welfare, and his sister pays nowhere near the costs that he does. And so he's not sure that the military is such a good deal compared to welfare. That seems to me to be a terrible comparison. Is that something that's going to be taken into consideration as you're looking at these additional costs?
Well, we do, in the recommendations, we do base it on income levels and with regards to retirees and what they're asked to provide in additional fees. The problem we have, Senator, is that the costs in health care have grown dramatically as they have elsewhere. I've got about $50 billion in the defense budget that goes for health care. So we were looking for ways to try to see if we could provide some additional cost control, and increasing these fees is one of the recommendations that we've made. And we do it still recognizing that the TRICARE program is a much more, in terms of cost, is a much less in cost than the private sector in terms of those same health care benefits. So it's still a pretty good deal that we provide for retirees, even though we are asking for these additional fees.
I appreciate the brevity of your answers and the clarity of them.